today's topic. Today's conversation is a good one. It's really good.
Mm,
And why it's good? Because this month we started speaking about un status quo. And our title for this day is Navigating Our Wounds, Trauma 101. And I like this title because a lot of time when we're spiritual, we think or we believe that because we're spiritual, we don't have wounds. There's nothing for us to heal, or that the divine will just, take care of it. And yes, to a certain extent, that is so. Yet remember, we're still humans. We're still having a
mhm.
human experience. And because we're still having this human experience, that means that we have some trauma. No matter where you raised or how you raised or the social economics that you have had, there's not one person that does not have trauma. And the reason I think behind that is because traumas, even though that they can be very painful at times and very challenging, not just for ourselves, but for the loved ones, for the people that loves us, for the people that we love, because a lot of times it's not intentionally done. There's all kinds of drama or trauma. There's trauma caused by wars. There's trauma caused by social economics.
Mm,
There's trauma caused by sexual abuse, domestic violence, all sort of trauma. There's a lot of things that we have in our world, and that we must recognize. And I think that when we recognize it, then we can heal it, right? And then we can really become one with the spirit within each one of us. And I also believe that those trauma are, I don't like to say necessary, but are
mm.
helpful for us to grow in our spiritual journey. Because a lot of times I feel that if everything was cool and dandy and we don't go through any challenges in life, most of the times we're so comfortable that we're not gonna go and start embracing or looking to grow mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. That's what I know about it. That's part of the human experience. And so I would love to have Bonnie join us in this conversation because she is a grief doula. And
Yeah.
what an amazing conversation, Bonnie. When I ask you, can you join us on Sunday, Reverend Rodney and I, after we were in Chapala, Mexico, for a few days, and we were just basking ourselves in so much love and
Mhm.
sharing. And on the last
Yes.
day, I said, Bonnie, will you mind joining us on Sunday? Last minute, because everyone is traveling far.
Uh,
And so I was just like, I don't know who to ask here because everybody's just going back home. And I was just saying, then Bonnie sat in front of me, and the Spirit said, she ain't traveling. She lives here.
she's home. She's already at home. Oh my gosh. Oh, how sweet.
So I
How
said, so why
sweet.
not? So why not? So, but I think it's perfect. The topic is perfect because that's what you deal with all the time in the work that you do, in the ministry that you do.
And
So what I would love to for you to add to our conversation is, how do you navigate the trauma, the different type of trauma that people have? Because what I know is that grief is
oh,
um, one of the,
yeah.
the the results that trauma brings, right? Whether
Yes,
we
exactly.
lose somebody physically, or a job, a relationship, so many losses that we have, and that can cause trauma.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. I want to just back up uh, a little bit before I start talking. You were just saying that we all have trauma in our lives, and that we need something that gives us that edge. Maybe that's why that trauma has happened. And you said if we didn't, we don't learn when life is handy dandy. It's like, well, I'm down for learning from handy dandy, but I'm, I'd love to have handy dandy, but that is not my life. And here's what I want to say. This is a really deep subject. It's not what we'll do our best with the time that we have to scratch the surface. And in scratching the surface, opening up a space for people to start talking. And if we take it back to grief, and grief is just really in all of our lives, and grief is a trauma. I don't care how it shows up. I call it living losses. That's when nobody died. It's the exact losses that Ellen was talking about: divorce, loss of friendship, geographical move, loss of health, all those things. Getting a terminal diagnosis can be a trauma. You know, going through chemotherapy can be a trauma. And here's what I feel is the way to start navigating these traumas, to realize that what we experience, we need to share it. We need to have a safe place where we can share. And when I say share, I don't mean talking to a friend and the friend says, oh, come on, girl, you know, you got a lot to be grateful for, you know, yeah, you know, your car ran over your foot, but you still have your other leg. It's like, no, listening with, that must be difficult. That must be difficult. Or if someone says, I'm enraged and I'm angry with God. Not like, oh, you can't be angry with God. Oh my goodness. It's like, if anything, say, tell me more about it. Tell me more. We need to have a place, as I said, to be able to share, to come and to empty ourselves of what it is that we're feeling. And if we can find that safe place to share, it negates shame, because so many times I find with people that are not talking about their grief or navigating their traumas, so much shame is involved, so much shame, that is what can slow one down or prevent you from talking about something. I'm probably the only one that, you know, ever had a son who I'm estranged from. I don't want to talk about that. But if we can have a safe place, then yes, I can talk about the traumatic effect of being estranged from a child that you love. And so I think sharing, you know, having our grief validated, having our trauma validated, to say, oh, yes, I hear that. Yes, yes, yes. How can I support you? How can I support you? And the last, I call it the 3 pillars of navigating. I'm going to use the word trauma today because that's what we're talking about, is to have it heard, to have it heard. So it needs to be validated, it needs to be shared, and it needs to be heard. And I can guarantee you, yeah, I can say I can guarantee this. If you're just in a small group even, or if you're better, because some people are better with one-on-one. Some people are very, very uncomfortable with a group. But it is inevitable that you will find someone else that has had that very same issue. And that's why it's so important to share, because then we start to realize we're not alone. We are not alone. So I'll hush for a minute and just let that marinate.
That was really good. I think that you cover a lot of what I wanted to cover. So I tell you, Spirit always do a good job. That's why I always trust.
Yes.
What do you think, Reverend Ronnie? Do you want to chip in?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. You know, I was contemplating the topic early this morning and thinking about my own experience with grief and trauma. And so I'm so glad that you spoke to us all about that. And one thing that came up for me, and I mentioned that because I had experienced a very traumatic experience as a child, very, like preschool.
Mm.
And it, and I wasn't able to have a resolution, to have a healing until I was in my 50s. So
Mm.
what came to me, and I mean, I was working on it, and I didn't know really where it came from because it happened at such a young age. However, I knew that I was dealing with the consequences of something. And it took so most of my life of not dealing with it and then dealing with it and then realizing I needed a healing from it,
Mm.
and like peeling back the onion layer after layer, but I could only go so far. And I realized it's not necessary to have all the answers. I mean, I'm not like just cutting the onion and getting to the middle of it,
Yeah.
which a lot of us want to do. It's like, I want to be done with it, but sometimes we have to peel back the layers. And two things I want to mention. One is I didn't have any coping mechanisms. I didn't have any healing modalities. Like you mentioned, gee, that was so simple. Can you give us that again? The three things.
Yeah, yes, I call it the three pillars. So
Right.
three pillars of healing grief, three pillars of healing trauma. Is that the first one? It needs to be shared. It needs
Right.
to be shared. The second is that it needs to be heard. And the last, it needs to be validated.
Right.
And you have to empty of it. You have to empty of it until there's, I call it, nothing left in the coffers to bring up like that energetic charge.
Right.
You want to empty. You want it. If sometimes, maybe I'll keep this in the eye. Yes, I feel that if I talk about it, okay, good, I'm over that. Yes, but no, I may have to talk about it 10, 20, 30 times. If I'm with somebody that says, oh, Bonnie, you talk about that all the time, I'm not with the right person. And
Right.
I'm not looking down on them or anything. That is where they are. That just means I need another person. I need a person that feels that they can hold this and hear this. For example, I have a friend who was traumatized by something that happened 4 years ago, and she still talks about it. But I feel that she still has not emptied it. She has not gotten to that place where the energy is gone. And I don't want to get too deep here, but sometimes when an event happened and we can't move through it and we've talked about it forever, it's really related to some deeper trauma. And I'm going to leave it at that. That if you find it, you can't move. Start, as Rodney says, there's that onion. It's like, wow, why can't I get over this? Why isn't this feeling leaving me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, this happened. Oh, I remember now that it's the same feeling I had when I was in an abusive relationship. Oh my God, I never healed from that. So that's why this insult, I can't get over it. So you're so right. It's like the onion. And I want to say too, be gentle with yourself. Be easy with yourself. Be, loving to yourself. Be kind to that little Rodney that, that the sense of be loving to him.
Yeah. And,
Just
thank you for that, Bonnie. And I want to add, and that's great. Everybody, I hope are taking notes. Well, I mean, this is, because Bonnie, this is your thing. This is your profession.
Well, that's spirit. I guess, Ellen, when you both knew to ask the right person.
Yes.
This is my passion.
So I do want to add that my experience, and because it took so long, so not only did I encounter that original grief and trauma, and then it was covered over. And how did I cover it over? I looked at things on the outside to cover up what was going on that I had no clue on how to deal with on the inside. And
Mhm.
so, I looked to things to help me deal with it. I had no coping mechanism on my own, and how could I even put words to it at that age, or how could I? And not, I'm not. I can say that I was not encouraged to talk about what I was going through. And I
Thanks.
can imagine that many people were never encouraged. Like, how are you feeling? No, really, you know, uh, like I saw you were hurt. How do you feel? No, that was never a conversation in most of my life. you know, and
Mhm.
only when I started doing self help programs and overcoming my own demons that conversation start to happen and become relevant. And even then, it was still pulling off the layers uh,
Mhm.
of the different ways that I was coping with not talking about what was going on,
Right.
of dealing with that,
Mhm.
with the consequences of not trusting people, of not trusting myself,
Mhm.
of all of the whether it was shame or the low self-esteem or any of those things that we experience as an impact of that grief and not dealing with it, not talking with it. And
Mhm.
it's so buried that it didn't seem like it was even there. It was like a computer virus,
Mhm.
it's there
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
impacting our day-to-day operations, except we don't even know where it was, where it came from in the conscious mind, and we have to go deep within. And we don't
To
get
the
to do that
root.
on our own. And as you mentioned, that our
Mhm.
friends and most of the people in our lives are not equipped to ask the right kind of questions or deal
Mhm.
with the answer,
Mhm.
or what to look for. So I think
Yeah.
this is a powerful conversation. And
Yeah.
and speaking for myself, uh, and just to cut to it quickly, I know we probably have some quotes to get to as well.
Oh.
That after I had been doing a lot of peeling and was kind of feeling better about myself, like we had a week in Chapala, the convention about my light, shining my light, you shining your light. We are one light, and individualized, of course. However, I didn't want to shine my light so brightly when I was feeling hurt, when I was feeling grief, feeling trauma, didn't even know where it came from. And the trauma was inflicted by my dad, unintentional, and he didn't know how to deal with it for most of my life, and then when finally I was ready, somehow he was able to tell me what happened. And I
Wow.
was like, wow,
Mm.
oh my God, you know,
Mm.
and I didn't even know. I was like, so I had already done the work, so it became welcome. I had already done the work so I could receive that message and continue on the healing. And I'm just grateful that I had that before he made his transition, which was actually past June. So I was like, wow, how
Wow.
we we encounter, as Ellen was also saying, we encounter things in our lives along our path that will contribute to that healing, whether we don't even know where it originally came from, but it's leading us in that way. And another thing I want to say, and thank you, Ellen, is that I did develop positive qualities from that trauma and that grief that helped me to be strong enough to make it through life and to be able to help others. So I just want to stop there.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Uh,
my
I,
gosh.
I, I think we
Rob.
have this quote. I want to share this quote here, which I think is perfect for what Reverend Rodney said about the virus in the system. It says when you open, you bring more energy into the system, and it can heal.
Mm,
Energy can heal, and that's why love can heal. And that quote comes from Michael A. Singer, The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself, page 74. I
mm,
love this, what you said, Reverend Rodney, because a lot of times it is so true. It's like a virus that is hiding within ourselves, and we don't even know that is there. Yet, because of the effects that we are experiencing, we know for sure there is. a virus within ourselves that is working within, and we have to do so much. There's so much inner work that we are here to do to explore that feeling. And I love what you said, Bonnie. You know, to have someone to listen, to be heard, is
Mhm.
the power of being heard, right? The power of being heard is powerful. And
Mhm.
to be compassionate with yourself,
Mhm.
not be ashamed of what you're going through or what you had gone through. But also, like Reverend Rodney said, we need to feel safe. We need to feel that we are in a safe space, in a sacred space where
Yeah.
that pain, where that trauma can be held with love, with compassion, and that
Mhm.
and a lot of times we might not need to say a thing. The person might just need to speak about it. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
at least that has been my experience, and I know that there's different ways of dissolving this trauma. That actually, for those of you that are listening to us, trauma holds us back. It holds our good from us. It holds
yeah.
us from experiencing joy. It holds us from experiencing financial abundance. It holds us from having an optimum health. Okay,
Oh,
because all that pain, all those ailments that your body is experiencing, if you're experiencing any, is that trauma. Okay, the trauma is
yes.
speaking to the body through the body so it can get your attention. So
Mhm.
please, if you are experiencing any type of those things, make sure that you, yes, go to the doctor, but do the inner work, because when you do the inner work, it's like you're born again, like the butterfly. You
Yeah.
come from a cocoon into a beautiful butterfly. And
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say that the work is easy. I like to say it sounds easy, but it takes practice, it takes
Mhm.
commitment. And what I can guarantee you is that when you commit to yourself, to your healing, to your new self, to your the new version of you, my
Mhm.
God, there's so much more that the universe has here for you. And I would like to turn this into our communities, because I believe that Ronnie or Reverend Rodney or Bonnie said that there has to be a sacred space. And a
Yes.
lot of times we don't find that in our families or with our friends. So we must have someone that is specialized in this type of work. And that's where practitioners come in. This is where
Yes.
ministers come in. This is where Bonnie, where her specialty with grieving comes in. So because your family might be going through the effects of the trauma. And so they don't even know how to do it because they're trying to deal with their own stuff as well. So
Mhm.
it is hard for them to listen. It is hard because they are needing someone to listen to them. So how
Yeah.
about if you're listening to us? Because this is not a topic. This is a full mouth topic, to be honest. And we're not gonna be able to cover everything about it. But the idea of these conversations is for you to be to ignite something in you, is to ignite something in you, to let you know that you don't have to do it alone. Number one, you don't have to do it alone. Number two, you have a community, a spiritual community with spiritual practitioners that are here to support you, to listen to you, to walk with you in your journey to become the butterfly that you're here to be, to enjoy a whole new level of life experience. Am I in the right track, Bonnie and Reverend Rodney?
Oh, oh, we're just scratching. We're just at the
Are
tip of
you
this
listening to
iceberg.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I was just
Absolutely.
saying.
You know,
Yes, it's the tip
I
of the
want to
iceberg.
thank you
Yes.
for that, Ellen, and Elizabeth Mitchell, one of our members who's um, on another part of the planet, says trauma is not always expressed because of the fear of judgment. And
Exactly.
I also want to bring up a quote
Mm-hmm.
that we have, and it's about also deals with the fear of judgment, and it says self acceptance gives us the strength to get better if we're ill, and stay well
Mm.
if we're fit. Self acceptance joins us together at the very point of rupture. And I love that because I had very low self acceptance. I was like trying to be and do everything that was not me. Like I was not trying to show my
Mm.
light. I'm like, no, they're not going to accept my light. But I wasn't accepting my own light. And when I talked about peeling the layers of the onion, we're also revealing our true nature as well,
Mm.
because I had so much stuff on top of me, like like different masks, and okay, they'll never see the real me, because the real me is hurting, and like I don't like it. How can anybody else like it?
Yes.
So self acceptance was one of those qualities that I had to get with when doing my work, and it's easy for us to talk about this in this way. However, and if whoever's listening and it's planting that little seed. It's like, you know what?
Mhm.
Do I really accept myself? This is your opening, to
Mhm.
get that seed into the soil of your heart and your into your soul. And like,
Mhm.
oh, well, maybe this applies to me. Maybe it's something I haven't been looking at. Maybe I don't really accept myself when I'm people pleasing, or I'm using some outside substances or
Mm.
things to make me feel better and not have to look within. That's self acceptance. I love that. It's the strength to get better. And I have been working on my self acceptance to a point where I could receive that message about the beginning of that trauma for me. Because that trauma, it's like an infection, like we talk about that virus, and it affects everything. It affects the relationships with everywhere.
Mhm.
It allowed
Mhm.
me to not be fully present for myself or anybody else.
Wow.
That's
Well,
right.
can I just chime
Right.
in on that on self-acceptance?
Yes, yes.
I just love that because we talk about how do you accept yourself? What's self-acceptance like? So
Mm.
what I have been doing lately is whatever emotions come up. Say I'll just take for sadness. I was just feeling really, really sad. Like, oh, I'm so sad because this didn't happen and that didn't happen. And if I had done X, Y, and Z. But then when I shifted and I just said, I am going to just be with sadness. I'm not going to give it a reason. I'm not going to give it a blame. I'm just going to accept the sadness without a story.
Mm,
I feel that
Mm.
that's what prevents us from self acceptance is when we have a story about why I'm sad.
mm,
I'm just sad because
Mm.
I'm sad. I'm going to let the sadness just have its way with me. I'm going to let it move through my body. All of these emotions that we have, or let me keep it in the eye, all of the emotions I have in the past, I've been so quick to write a story about.
mm,
Now I
Mhm.
accept that I have emotions. They come up and they have come to pass. When I am with them, they go really quickly. But when I suppress, like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be.
mm,
Let me give and go. It comes back again. Then I got to fight it. And
Mhm.
that's what exhausts
Yeah.
the physical body,
mm,
all this fighting
Mhm.
of emotions that we want to keep because somewhere out there we maybe just socialized in a way of not feeling a certain way. But now we are in charge of our lives. Well,
That's
I'll
right.
say, I'm large and I'm in charge of my life. And I accept these emotions. And the more it feels, my experience is that if I can just do with that and stay with that without a story, it is gone. It is like, okay, the body, like Rumi says, every day this body is like a guest house. Every day a new arrival, some meanness, some
That's
sadness,
right.
and meet me at the door laughing. Meet that depression at the door laughing. Meet that anger at the door laughing. Accept that joy that comes in. Accept that when you're overflowing with love, you can accept that. So I just say yes. If we can be with what comes up inside of us, releasing the
Mhm.
judgment, saying
That's
yes.
beautiful.
I have periods of sadness. I have periods of joy. I have periods of meanness. Just, but accepting what comes up. I'll be quiet. Thank you.
I think that's the first step, right? The first step of grieving is accepting it, which is recognizing it first and then accepting it. Because a lot of times we don't even recognize what's happening because we're so numb by it that we don't
Mhm.
recognize it.
Yeah.
But what I know is that when we become more in tune with our bodies and instead of pushing it down or ignoring it, like you said, just be with it. Just sitting
Mhm.
with it is a very powerful practice, and it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. We're not gonna minimize the
Yeah.
power of that practice because it takes a lot of courage to sit with your emotions. And what I would like to invite each one of you as we come to an end of this conversation is that we are here for you. We are here to walk with you. We are here to support you. We are here to tell you that there's a quote here that I have that I would like to bring it out. It says,
Uh,
"We are all okay. We are all. There's not one of us that has not been wounded or is not wounded. You know, you see us here, we still have things that we're still working on with.
uh,
Okay, so this quote, I loved it because it says, "We're all wounded and carry the shame and pain in ways that we are unaware of. Yet, we are not equipped with the skills of the awareness to heal trauma." And that is from Sean A. Wright. He has a PhD, and the name of the book is The Four Pivots: Reclaiming Justice, Reimagining Ourselves. So know this: we are all in this journey together. Some of us have done the work, and that's what makes us able to be and walk with you with compassion and with love. Don't ever feel like you have to do this by yourself. This is what One Love is here to do for you. We're here to support you in your journey. Call us, connect with us, and make sure that you are supported. We can continue to talk about this topic because this is a really juicy, deep
mhm.
topic. But if you
Yeah.
really have some issues, which I know you do, because we all do, please connect. Okay. So at this moment, I would like to invite you to do some affirmations. Okay. So let's go into our affirmations. The first one, we're going to take a deep breath and release another deep breath because this was a heavy topic. So let's take another deep breath. And so the first one it is so that I embrace my journey and treat myself with kindness, recognizing that every step contributes to our collective healing. Take a deep breath. Bonnie, will you do the second one for us?
Mm. It is so that I radiate compassion towards myself and others, understanding that we are all interconnected in our growth and recovery.
Hmm. Take a deep breath. And now, Reverend Bonnie, will you do the last one?
It
Oh,
is
you
so.
left, so it's my turn. No,
It
here it is.
it is so that I nourish my spirit with love and patience, acknowledging that healing is a shared experience that unites us all. And so it is, and now it is.
And so it is
Mm.
in that space of holding ourselves with compassion, with love, with acceptance, recognizing that there's only one presence, and recognizing that that presence is within you, is in you, regardless of the traumas, regardless of the appearances, regardless of your appearances, of the experiences, there's that divine power within you that moves through you, that is assisting you in every step of your journey to become aware of trauma, to become aware of your emotions. As the creator of this body, of this human experience, he created everything so perfectly for your journey, for your expansion, for your recognition of who you are and whose you are. There's no mistakes. Remember that. There's no mistakes. All is perfectly imperfect. Even those traumas, even the sadness, even the grief, the grief of loss, the grief of relationships, whatever those grief are, whatever that trauma is, know that you're so powerful because you have the God within you that lives within you, that gives you the courage, that gives you the wisdom, that gives you the vision to embrace your new self as you continue to shade all that no longer serves you, as you continue to peel the onion, as you continue to walk in this journey of exploring the beautiful self that you are here to be. And as recognizing that when you have the courage to heal, to sit with your emotions, to recognize your emotions, to accept them, you are also healing others. You are also inspiring others to do the same. And together, we can create a world that works for all of us. A world that is full of peace, a world that is full of love, abundance in every area of our life, health, all those desires that you have in your heart. Remember that those are the desires of the divine within you, living through you, as you, by you. So embrace this truth about who you are and allow yourself to be supported in this journey. Remembering that there's nothing for you to do alone. You're here for greatness. You're here at this special moment, in these times that we're going through in our planet, where shift is happening everywhere. Because you have chosen, because I have chosen, you have chosen, we are choosing to heal. I give thanks for this time together. I give thanks for having the courage to speak about this deep title, the topic that so many times we're just being judged by it, that we are shamed by it. But that what I know is that when we bring it to the light, we're able to really heal, not just ourselves, but others as well. I give thanks for this and so much more, knowing that divine love is healing us all and is aligning us with the depth of who and whose we are. I give thanks for Reverend Rodney being here, for Bonnie, for saying yes. For Reverend Rodney to see in the vision and to act on the vision that was given to him to have this ministry of One Love Center. Yes. To embrace all those that are looking and that are searching and that are wanting to be supported with love and with compassion, to be heard without judgment. I give thanks for this, and I am so grateful. I'm filled with gratitude for this time together. I'm filled with gratitude for all those that are being touched by this service, by this celebration, whether you are here now or later. I am knowing that every word that has come from our mouth has been a word that has been inspired by divine love and is touching someone. And when it touched someone, it touched many. And I release this, knowing it is so, knowing it is done. And so it is, and now it is. Ashe, amen.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So touching, so touching.
I want you to just bask in that space of
Yes.
acceptance, accepting that you're being loved, regardless of where you are in your journey, regardless of how you're showing up in the world. Remembering that who you're showing up as, if you're not happy with who you're showing as or what you're acting as, there's no mistakes in God. It all fades away when you choose to be healed, when you choose that you can be healed. So now, Bonnie, I would like to invite you um, to read our prayer support banner.
Okay. One Love Center has prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power, charged and already within you for your immediate use. I want to read that again, if I may. One Love Center has prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power, charged and already within you for your immediate use. Thank you for that reminder. That's
Hmm. And remember that when you connect with us, you can connect with us at that number that is showing up at the bottom of the screen. You can send us an email at onelovecenter.org, and you can give us a call as well and leave a message. You can email us, reach out to us. We're here to support you in every way that is possible. But the first step, you have to make it. You have to call in. You have to send that email. You have to make that text. And we will be here waiting. We're waiting here for you. Prayer is very powerful. We pray for you for 7 days. We keep your prayers for 7 days. After that, we start praying for you unless you tell us that you would like us to continue to pray for that situation or that condition. I believe in the prayer and the power of prayer. We believe in the power of prayer because we're here to see beyond your seeing. Okay, um, prayer practitioners see your truth, regardless of your appearance, regardless of the appearances that you are experiencing. And so now I would like to um, again say thank you to all our donors, to all those that are making donations on a weekly basis, monthly basis. And we are very grateful for you donations. You have no idea how grateful we are. So we invite you, if this is your first time that you're hearing this, you can on the and there is going to the PayPal, and you go through the process that
Mm.
So what we are doing right now is we are focusing on the abundant nature of the universe. We know that yes, it's important to receive. It's important for us to be open to receive because there's no other way for us to give. And so what we do is
Seems like we're having technical challenges. Can you hear me, Bonnie?
Yes, well, that's because we're so powerful. We're just expanding beyond the capacity of technology. We are so expansive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would like to invite you to do the affirmation for abundance, and that is, I want you to bring your right hand and put it in your heart, and said, "I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good works this gift do in our center and in our world. And now it is, and so it is." Thank you so much for sharing your good with us. Remembering that whatever amount you give is good, because
Yes.
you are actually you're activating the law of circulation. So it's
Mhm.
because the intention is more powerful than the amount, because there's no amount in spirit. It's only the vibration of that you are giving out. That's what it is. So, with that being said, I would like to, I think, let me see what else is there. Okay. So, number one, I would like to acknowledge all of you that are listening in right now. I'm not sure exactly how to see who is here. Let me see. Elizabeth is here. Thank you, Elizabeth, for always being here, choosing to be here with One Love Center. Let me see who else I see. Beatriz Espedes is here. Thank you so much for being here. Muchas gracias, querida Beatriz, por estar aquí en nuestro programa. Te lo agradezco mucho. Elizabeth Mitchell as well. Who else? Let me see. Angela Feaster. Thank you, Angela. All of you that are joining us on a weekly basis, please, I would like you to ask you to share this conversation, this celebration in your page, in your social media page, so more people can listen and get the message and know that we are here to support you in every way that we can. I don't get tired of saying that, because I have grown in One Love Center so much since I became part of One Love Center in 2011, and I have not looked back. I'm not the same person I was in 2011. And all Reverend Rodney is very loving, very supportive, and he really puts the platform, the space, the sacred space for you to grow at your own pace. Huh? It's not at his pace, at your own pace, which is beautiful. So we're here, embracing you and knowing that you're saying yes, and yet you're expanding yourself, and that this celebration has fed your spirit. And if you want more, please connect with each one of us. We're here to support you. I think that the next thing that we're here to do is the benediction, and I would like to have our guest, Bonnie, to do the benediction for us. And then we'll
Mm.
have our closing song and we'll be done.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to both of you. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in and will hear us. So, with that, let's just shift and just breathe in all that we have heard in this past hour. Breathe it in, knowing that words are power, words have energy. Breathe those words in, breathe the words in and feel the energy of those words. And so it is with a heart of gratitude, with an attitude of gratitude, that I give thanks for this time, for us coming together to remember and to know the truth of ourselves as the divine Holy Spirit moves through us as us, bringing each person to their own personal greatness, feeling into your own power, standing with your head held high, with your chest out, with the sun shining on your face, on your being, and realizing the power that you have, the power to change the world, but knowing that changing the world and bringing world peace comes from each individual having inner peace, inner harmony, inner power, and inner love. So let it start within, embody it, and then beam it back out to the rest of the world. And just in, tremendous gratitude for One Love Center, for their vision to touch the world in such a loving, humane, and compassionate way. Thanking One Love Center, thanking Reverend Rodney, thanking Ellen, and giving just the deepest, deepest gratitude to Spirit today. So with that, I say thank you, just releasing these words into law, and so it is, and now it is. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bonnie, for that beautiful benediction. So now we will bring Brother Ronnie so we can all say till next time. Hasta la vista, amigo.
Hasta vista, babies. Spirits, lovely.
And we will see you next Sunday. Please stay tuned and stay tuned with what we have in our site. We have been sharing a lot for the past 2 weeks. If you haven't seen what we have been sharing, just catch up with everything that we have been experiencing for the last 2 weeks. And we're just grateful to have you here.